Abusia micha na mo akwa sonko so emra BELLTV GH so abusia for se de obo ewura parliament in fact eja dele wo ho pa enya asemo a chese didi agbo abusia me pesa me kasa bwa na pese e ko ni ekotie ni si ewo parliament tese no honorable Afenyomarkins the minority leader versus the majority abusia ensem e koso papa between the NDC and the MPP mentem ho ase a e koso ho no ano edi me pesa me kasa bwa na pese e ko na gokotie ni a e koso na obehya na so amese ha BELLTV GH so abusia se enen de dikon channel so a message so be subscribe like no abasha for pencil ni bieti na nya bieti yenko ni enkotie ni e koso na se ni asi e wo parliament message but more than subscribe like na abasha for pencil ni bieti enya bi etie ha BELLTV GH so that's
so ini.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the indication that at the time that the application was made to withdraw the earlier call, the number in the chamber was over 90. But Mr. Speaker, I just want to use this opportunity to caution ourselves as we employ these tools that are allowed within our operations as members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, this caution has become important because it does not only interrupt the work in the chamber, but it also interrupts committee work. Mr. Speaker, myself and colleagues have just been called out of committee meetings to come to the chamber to be counted. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, we have guests from state institutions who are waiting for us. What we were doing there, Mr. Speaker, is part of Parliament business. And it is unfortunate that we have had to make these guests wait for us so that we can just come here to show our face. That also interrupts Parliament business in some way. Mr. Speaker, I do not begrudge the minority for imitating, in some cases, what may have happened to them when they were in government. But they should do so responsibly like the minority at the time did, without unnecessarily, embarrassing all of us. Because as we speak, those leaders of those state agencies will think that Parliament is not a serious place. They have had to wait all morning just so that members can come, into the chamber to be counted for business to be conducted. So, Mr. Speaker, my caution is that we should employ these tools very judiciously.
Are you on a point of order?
So, Mr. Speaker, my caution is that we should employ these tools. We should employ these tools judiciously and use them in a way that we will not be ridiculing ourselves and also, by extension, be ridiculed by the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Honorable
Speaker.
Deputy Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm very surprised the angle at which the Member of Parliament for Tamale North is going. Mr. Speaker, he has used some words in this regard that is unparliamentary. When you say unnecessarily, when constitutional matters are raised, at the time the quorum was, you have been invited to look at the quorum of the chamber. Mr. Speaker, we are all aware that we did not satisfy under Article 102 of the Constitution.
After the presentation of business statement, the issue of the previous day's vote was corrected, that the decision was a rescission. Mr. Speaker, that must reflect in the vote, but they skipped that to page 8, where there is point 6, recognition of a school. So, Mr. Speaker, I want that to reflect. In respect of our 4 colleagues, there was a rescission. That correction was done. Mr. Speaker, having done that, Mr. Speaker, I want to claim the attention of colleagues on this important matter. Mr. Speaker, our colleague Alhassan Suhini, in his submission earlier, had used 2 phrases that the minority must not be seen to be acting irresponsible. and he also said quorum use unnecessary. Mr. Speaker, we can take it as he's saying so on a lighter note. But I want to remind my colleagues opposite now, let them check it and let's check it. I won't lie. Sometimes when we raise the issue as if we are saying things from our own head, he used those two phrases. Check it now, Mr. Speaker. I wrote it down. But I'm saying that we absorb some of these jokes. We, our side, we absorb some of these strong words. But if it were to come from this side to the other side, you would have heard, hey, why are you calling irresponsible? They should be responsible. You can check it. So I am reminding him.
Let me find out from Honorable Soini.
If he says he didn't use it, let's call for the record.
Did you use the word irresponsible?
Mr. Speaker, I remember using 3 words. I described the use as unnecessary. I encouraged that it should be used responsibly. And I also said it should be used judiciously. I said it should be used responsibly and it should be used judiciously. Mr. Speaker, if the minority leader decides to look at the opposite of responsible, that is not my choice. That is his interpretation. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Honorable members, order. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, in the unlikely event, far-flung event.
Now, we were all over the news over the weekend that Friday's adjournment was as a result of the fact that we didn't have quorum to transact business. But Mr. Speaker, if you compare that information plus the record of the votes and proceedings that we are correcting now, we had as many as 192 members of parliament present on Friday. Speaker, if you recall, I made a point in the course of the submission that even the ad hoc committee was sitting and that other members too were at committee meetings. So if we could be given the opportunity to get members to attend to business on the floor. But that didn't happen. So being a house of record, tomorrow the record for Friday will show that instead of the news out there that we adjourned because we didn't have the numbers, we actually had 192 members present. Just for your guide, for you to guide the house. I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Table of it, take note. Honorable Deputy Whip.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to assist my colleague, the Majority Whip, that he cannot assume that we have about 192 marked present on the vote and proceedings and assume that that was the number present. You cited Order 64.3, and Order 64.3 is clear that quorum can be raised at any time. And Mr. Speaker, for Hansard, when you were adjourning, you said the table of it had counted, and we were 71. You made that announcement, and for that matter, you are adjourning the House. So it must not be in our record because of his assumption that we had 92 people marked present when you had directed clerk to count, and we were 71 at the time that we were adjourning. So we adjourned because we did not have the numbers. We adjourned because your super 193 vanished, and you were just about 1830. So that is what is on our record, and that was your direction, and that was exactly what you said, Mr. Speaker. So he needs to be guided. Mr. Speaker, also to advise him that you've just been a Majority Whip about 3 weeks now. So when I'm talking, I'm your senior in leadership. Sit down, let me finish. I've been here over 4 years, so you sit down on the front bench. No, he should sit down. I've been your leader over 4 years now. You've just been 3 weeks. So you should be able to learn and be guided on the procedure we use. But you cannot assume that, even Mr. Speaker, we have not even approved this. We have not approved this. And he cannot even refer to it because it has not been adopted. The vote and proceedings on Friday has not even been adopted. He's a lawyer. He should know
Deputy
better. It has not been adopted.
Whip,
So for
are
that
you
matter,
on
you
point
cannot
of order?
proceed on that.
Please. Speaker. Speaker.